Hey, it's Dante with MadeOrderPCs.com. Today I have another video. This is what to do if your cell phone gets waterlogged. This video is also going to demonstrate what to do if your iPod Touch, iPhone, or regular cell phone. What to do if those get wet. So first, we're going to start with the cell phone, since that's what this video is about. So if your cell phone does get wet, whatever you do, don't turn it on. If it's already on, leave it on, but what you have to do is remove the battery as quickly as you can as soon as it gets wet. So to do that, it varies from phone by phone, but here's a Verizon SMT 5800 phone. Most of them are kind of like this, very similar, any kind of cell phone really. Normally this back part, as you can see there's a little seam here, the back part comes off, and either that back part is the battery itself or it's just a little door to access the battery. So what you have to do, just for this phone specifically, you slide this, and the back pops out, and there's your battery. Then, as you can see, there's a way to remove it. You just pull out the battery, and that's it. Don't touch any button on the front. Be sure to minimize the amount of electricity that's used if it is on. If it's off, like it should be, because it shorts out the battery if it gets wet normally. But if it's off, like it should be, like I said, just pull out the battery as quickly as possible. If it's not off, or if it's still on, you have a very good chance of the phone being recoverable very easily. The other thing that you have to do, since this phone is Verizon, they don't use SIM cards, but companies like AT&T and T-Mobile, they use what's called SIM cards, which are little cards. I don't have one here because I don't have any phones that use SIM cards. There's a little thing about the size, a little bigger than a micro SD card. It's in here. It's normally in the back behind the battery normally. You want to pull that out too. It's a small little piece of plastic with a gold kind of connector on it. In the show notes over there to the right of this video, I'll show you what that looks like. I'll give you a Wikipedia link or something. So anyway, once you have those out, you want to go home or to the nearest possible beauty store or friend's house or whatever. Beauty store I'm joking about. You probably don't want to go up there, but go to a blow dryer and take your phone and blow dry the thing until it gets really, really warm. Make sure it's on high heat and everything. Go through. You're gonna see, if it's a slide-out phone, any kind of slide-out phone like a LG Chocolate, or a smartphone with a slide-out keyboard, or if it's a phone that flips open, like let's see, the Envy I believe does that. I'm trying to think of phones offhand, but any kind of phone, you want it to be as open as possible with the back off, and just blow dry the thing till it gets really hot. And then even when it gets hot, go about for another 5 minutes. Probably what's going to happen is moisture you'll see is going to build up on the screen here, and that's okay. That means it's evaporating, which is kind of good because it's evaporating and condensing back on the screen. So then what you want to do is make sure you don't put the battery back in. This part sometimes you really don't have to do, but I still do it just in case because you never know. After you get the phone nice and really warm, you want to take it and you want to put it in a bowl, and this is going to sound weird, but trust me, it works, with rice and or salt. Okay, so that's going to sound weird, but I would recommend using rice and salt. Do like a 70 to 40% mixture. Wait, does that even add up? No. 70% rice, 70, 80, 90, 30% salt. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at math, but 70, 30 about, whatever. Just make sure you have a little more rice and salt, like 1/3 more rice than you do salt. What this is going to do is, over about a week's time or so, it's going to pull the moisture from the device, and that is a very good thing. You want to get all the moisture back out. One very important note that you need to know before you do this rice and salt thing is if your phone feels wet from the outside, like you feel like a lot of moisture, when you put it in this bath of salt and rice, some of the salt may dissolve into the water and then leak back into your phone and then cause corrosion way faster than regular water would do. So like whatever you drop it in, you want to get out of that as soon as possible. And salt water, if you mix it with the phone's electronics, you're probably going to fry something a lot easier. So if this is a case that it's really, really wet and completely waterlogged, I would put it in rice for about a week, and then after that week, I would change out the rice and add the 70% rice, 30% salt for another week. That is kind of like the longest you should go. Anything over that will probably not be effective and won't do anything over that 1 week. Once that's done, you're going to want to take your phone and put the battery back in, put the SIM card and battery back in, and then go ahead, plug it into its charger, whatever you have, a USB. This one has a mini USB charger on the bottom. Oh, my thumb's covering it up. So you could plug it into a computer or a wall charger. And you're going to let it fully charge. Just leave it on there for a day, even if it says fully charged. Give it like an extra hour or two. This normally takes a day, and you should give it at least 12 hours to happen. Just this is to make sure, once the internal circuitry heats up from being charged, that sometimes helps even more to get rid of the water inside. Once that happens, you should be able to turn on your phone, and it will work. The thing is, most phones these days, actually I'm pretty sure all phones these days, as you can see here, see that little white rectangle right there where my middle finger is? I think we have another one, yeah, right down there where my pointer finger is. See that little white square? That turns red or some other color when it's exposed to moisture. When that trips, which is anytime it's exposed to moisture, they're really accurate. When that trips, your phone warranty is null and void, and they will not do anything for you. So you really have nothing to lose at that point, I guess. You're going to either want to try and get your phone to work, or you're not going to use your phone, and they're not going to give you a new one because you voided the warranty by putting it in water. So that's what you do if you have a phone. If you have another device like an iPhone or iPod Touch, I'll show you on this one. You're going to want to do the same procedure. You're going to want to blow dry it for at least 5 minutes, and then another few minutes after that when it feels really warm. This is an iPod, but this works for the iPod Touch since they're very similar in architecture. So you're going to want to blow dry it and then put it in, I would just do, for this one, just do salt, or rice. The salt is a little too risky for these because these are, the circuitry is exposed right down there and right in here. One interesting thing about these iPhones and iPod Touches and just iPods in general is on both of these, you probably won't be able to see it, but inside the little headphone jack right there and right there, there is the same exact sensor they have right there and right there. So when you go into the store, if you tell them it's not working and this is because it gets wet, they'll check to see if there was water damage by putting a little kind of light in there, and you'll see them looking directly in that hole. And the same deal, if it turns anything but white, they know there's water damage and your warranty is void. So for also these two devices, you're going to want to just blow dry them for at least 5 minutes, and then once it feels really warm, go for a few minutes longer, and then just stick them in rice for a week. What the rice does is it actually sucks all the moisture out because of osmosis, and it also absorbs any water that's evaporated. Because rice is really dry and it wants to become hydrated because of the starch and chemical formulas and blah blah blah, all that, whatever, it doesn't really matter, but it works. If it still doesn't work after that 1 week in the rice, these two devices, what you can do, if it still doesn't work, is heat them up again using the blow dryer for, once again, 5 minutes plus a little more after it gets really warm, and then stick it in the 70-30% rice salt mixture I was talking about earlier. That is kind of a last-ditch effort for these two, and if that doesn't help you, nothing will. One thing is, after you do, first just the straight-up rice, you're going to want to plug it into your iPod, and no matter what it says, just be sure on iTunes, hit restore. When you go into the iTunes menu for your iPod or iPhone, go restore. That will reset all firmware and kind of format the device, and that will load all new firmware and everything. And I would recommend that just because it's kind of nice to have a fresh install of the operating system, and you kind of know the operating system of the iPod, and it's kind of good to know that you could rule that possibility that there's something wrong with that, something wrong with the operating system. So after that, if it still doesn't work after that, you probably dropped in something other than something that's very corrosive, like soda is really bad. Anything carbonated is with sugar and artificial sugar, high fructose corn syrup, all that junk is probably not going to be too recoverable. Toilets, I've heard a lot of that. That normally works unless you recently cleaned the toilet with like bleach or something. Even then it might work, but if you use some like harsh chemicals, it probably won't. And also if you use those like little toilet mints that you drop in, the what's it called, the tank but behind it, if your water is blue or whatever, then that's probably not going to work because there are some sodium, some different types of sodium compounds in there that eat up circuitry, like I don't know, Pac-Man eats dots. I don't know, couldn't think of a comparison, but there's one for you. So I hope this helped. Check out my other videos. You could subscribe to my videos, I would love that. So yeah, this is Dante from MadeOrderPCs.com, and keep a lookout for my other videos. Thank you.